This is DX Central Live.
Stand by for a transmission from DX Central. This broadcast is not a test. To confirm reception, please tune your radio to any AM or FM frequency and report your observations during this transmission. Again, this is not a test. Stand by for a transmission from DX Central. This broadcast is not a test. To confirm reception, please tune your radio to any AM or FM frequency and report your observations during this transmission. Again, this is not a test.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AM/DX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AM/DXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teak Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teakpublishing.com for more information. That's teakpublishing.com. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
The Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live right here on YouTube from the North Shore Studios, my friend, in Mandeville, Louisiana. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you guys being part of the fun on a Friday night. Hopefully some great DX for you this week and maybe some tonight as well. Oh, what a week it has been. Guys, I've been busting out new logs all week. So we're going to be doing some log sawing later on tonight. And getting us ready for our next challenge that we have. Our next frequency of the week for week 6. Can you believe it's already week 6? This is episode, what? This is episode 6. Week 6 of the challenge is about to start. And you might have seen me tease it a little bit. We've got a big announcement coming a little bit later on in the program. It's something that I'm pretty excited about, actually. No, we're not going anywhere. Some folks thought that because some of the images that I used, people thought we were going somewhere. We were leaving. Earl thought we were being picked up by NBC, which would be great, but no. No CBS, no ABC, no Fox, no NBC, no networks, no... Not even like Roku TV. Hey, if you guys are watching, call me, right? But yeah, we've got a big announcement coming up a bit later on in the program. We've got our results from week 4. We're going to be going over here in a bit. We've got, we're finishing up 930 and 891, which 930 has been so much fun this week. I've been really putting my new Superloop through its paces, trying it out, focusing most of my attention on that antenna. And trying it out a little bit and seeing how it does. And so a lot of what we've been doing this week has been kind of focused around that. But still a lot of fun on 930. So many stations there for us this week. We'll talk about that. We're going to be announcing, obviously, week 6, our new frequencies of the week. So we'll be getting to that here in a bit. But before we do all of that, we got some live AMDX to get to, right? So we're going to start off with that. We're going to do another tour around the shack. We got top of the hour alert coming up in about 6 minutes. So we'll be cranking up, getting ready for that. But our usual tour of the shack, I do want to mention tonight's beverage of choice is a Beta Springs, a Beta Beer Company. It's an office party. It's a local release. It's a holiday stout. And it is yummy, yummy. I bought this. And I said, well, if I don't... I bought this last year for the first time when we first moved here to Mandeville. And I said, well, if I don't like it, I'm sure my wife will. But it turned out that I liked it, loved it, and she's kind of about it. So, cheers, more for me. Cheers, my friends. Hopefully you had a great week. All right. So yeah, some of you guys picked up that we have some lightning just here to the south. So let's take a look at that, right? So we've got some lightning down here to the south of us. So there's the possibility we could have some pretty significant lightning crashes on air tonight. I'm looking on my SDR right now, and I'm seeing a couple little breaks in here on the waterfall that look like they could be some lightning crashes. Let me just do a little... Oops, that's a little loud. Let me turn it down a little bit. It doesn't seem like too bad. They're not like super close. We'll keep an eye on it. But obviously, our usual tour around the shack here. We've got our Perseus, which tonight has 2 antennas going into it as usual. This time we have our 22x70 northwest southeast CAS. We have our 15x50 west facing Superloop, and the northwest southeast antennas in the northeast configuration, which I'm sure some of you might have seen last night. I was able to use the west Superloop and the northwest CAS, the vactrols that are on those, and some phasing with my Lankford-Misek Phaser to take 60 dB out of WWL here in New Orleans. 60 dB out of a 50 kilowatt local station just across the lake from me and Saltwater and them. That's all we got here, but between me and them is Saltwater. 60 dB. I was able to get them down. Just enough to be able to hear the whoa, 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 whoa from Radio Relow down in Cuba, which was nice. So yeah, we got the 2 antennas there in the Perseus. We have our Elad FDM S3, which is running our northeast-southwest wire, our northeast-southwest CAS, and the vactrol that goes with that. And then on the other side here, we've got our FlexRadio, our Flex 1600, or 6400, sorry, which has a very nice combination of 2 W6 LVP loops, and we've got those on rotors. I'm still working on one of the loops, trying to get it kind of in a good spot. I'll probably do some work on it tomorrow. I think I might have a feed line issue, but we'll be taking a look at that. So let's go ahead and do some live DX. This hour of live DX is brought to you by National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org is a website. Alan, I think that ship has long sailed, my friend. Yeah, that ship of keeping the folks oblivious to the alcohol in the fridge is many years away. We have some fun stories around that. Anywho, let's take a look at the Perseus here. Like I said, we're about 2 minutes 15 seconds away from top of the hour alert. Let's take a look on 9:30 and see what we got. We're looking west. I would not say no, Rick. I would love to have a chance to go back up and see my friends. I used to have a client, one of my clients when I was an account manager at another company, was Jim Beam, and they used to provide me with all kinds of swag. You guys have seen my tumbler, my Yeti-looking tumbler, and I've got these little Jim Beam leather coasters that are actually pretty cool, and some other stuff. They sent me like a salt and pepper shaker that looks like a little Jim Beam bottle, things like that. So if I run across them again, I'll see if I can get you something hooked up. Yeah, that's not a good sound, is it? We're gonna hit some attenuation here. May have to go up a little higher because that's a lot. Oof. Let me see. Let's take a look and see if we have it better or not over on the... It didn't seem like it was as bad on the Elad. Let's take a look at that one. Because that other antenna is kind of pointing right at the lightning. Yeah, it doesn't seem as bad over here. So this is facing northeast. I could also, let me try one other thing really quick. Let me see. I'm not going to switch it over just yet. Yeah, that even the northwest wire is getting pretty hard. The northeast one seems to be okay. It's time. Bill got the reminder for me. That's why we pay him the big bucks. As our chat moderator, he's paid the big bucks to do that kind of stuff right there. This might actually be a good chance for me to find something I didn't hear, because I didn't do any 930 on the northeast wire this week. Also, if you have any new stuff that you did, I saw Carl got 8 new ones this week. If you have any new stuff, new logs, new states, new countries, hit us in the chat. Let us know. We're going to get you a shout out in here. Like new ones for you, Bill? Nice. We'll get you on there. Same here. Nicely done on that one, by the way, Dave. KCCC, that's nice.
28 de octubre de 2022, estamos vivos. Esto es básicamente un privilegio. Este es el privilegio que se le negó a muchos. Hace ayer me llamaron que un amigo, un compañero de años de industria, estaba haciendo su película, estaba presentando una película. Los lunes 9, Cacho Santiago, el conde Tony Sánchez Cáncer, si no me equivoco, el tipo estaba en su noche más épica de su primer día de lanzamiento de una película, que yo presumo que eso tiene que ser un momento bien emblemático. Pues mira, en medio de la situación, se cayó de boca, se rompió la boca, porque se desmayó, y se acabó su fiesta de celebración. No está muerto, gracias a Dios, pero está en el hospital, haciéndole evaluaciones clínicas. Esto lo que yo quiero decir es que pensamos que es un día más, realmente es un día menos. Y fíjate lo frágiles que son, ni aún en el día de celebración tuya, las vidas se encargan de recordarte lo fragilidad que tú tienes. Y por esa razón, es que tenemos que aprender a vivir la vida. O sueños de dolor, o sueños de placer, cualquiera. El que te funcione para hacer.
Yeah, that's kind of a mush tonight. Possibly that Spanish station we're hearing is Jacksonville, VFXJ, because that would be kind of in the beam width of this CAS. It's possible we're getting XESAME off the back end of it, because I had actually brought the vactrol in earlier this week on that antenna because of some storms that were coming through. So it's possible that's who that is. Tom, I've been looking for them all week. I thought maybe last night I heard a little bit of WKY in Oklahoma. I had some sports in there that wasn't what I had heard on some of the other stations. So I think maybe I had a little snippet of them in there, but no joy on getting anything confirmed or definitive. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have a couple things we're going to need to take care of here. So, again, if you have any new logs, new states, new countries, let us know over in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to give you a shout-out here a bit later on. We'll do that a couple times tonight. Also, if you have any guesses, I always like seeing these. Any guesses what you think our frequencies of the week will be this week? Let me know in the chat. Love to see those and see if anyone got it right. But in the meantime, we're going to do a quick break. When we come back, we're going to start looking at the results from week 4 of our medium wave frequency challenge. That was 1400 and 621 were the frequencies for that. We'll finish up here on 930 and 891, and we have a big special announcement coming a bit later in here as well before we get to our announcement for week 6 frequencies near the top of the next hour. So a lot to cram in this hour here for us. So stay tuned. More DX Central Live coming up right after this. Don't go away.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. My friends, thank you so much for being part of the fun. Yeah, Jim, I want Argentina bad. That's on my hit list of like gotta have it's this DX season. I want to add one more South American country to my logbook, and that is at the top of my list right now. Argentina, Bolivia, Uruguay, or is it Paraguay? I always get those two confused. One of the two, whichever one is on Paraguay on 920. That's the one I'm after. Curacao on 860. I want that one too, but I'll take any of those that I can get, so we'll see. All right, so we've got a lot to get to this hour. We have results from week number 4 of our medium wave frequency challenge. We were looking at 1400 and 621 kilohertz. You can see by my little map I have over here in the corner that the lightning is pretty intense. So we're going to be a little bit limited on our DX tonight, potentially. Maybe. We'll see. We might go a little higher here a little later on the band and see if it's just as bad as it is down low. And it looked like it might be a little better on the Elad, so we may spend some more time there. But we have the results to get to, and then here in a bit, we're also going to be getting to our announcement that we have, our big announcement. And then near the top of the hour, we'll be unleashing the new frequencies of the week. I guess I can say that now, right? It's always going to be a frequencies situation, since we either have a range or two every week. So frequencies of the week. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our results. From last week, I guess, our week 4, we finished up 1400 and 621, and we have a new top dog this week. A new top dog at the top of the standings, and some really awesome DX. So let's go. All right, congratulations, Tom, and all of our category leaders and everybody who had stuff submitted for week 4 of our frequency challenge. But 10 states on a graveyard frequency is pretty awesome, and we had 2 folks do it. Obviously a pretty great haul of logs, 107 loggings rather submitted during that week. Again, we'll be announcing our new week frequencies of the week here in a bit, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Trying to think. Let's do this first before we get to anything else. Let's do our tweet of the week. So you guys know that I like to look on our Twitter feed for important or helpful AM, FM related tweets that are out there. You can find us at twitter.com/DXCentral. And you can use the hashtag DXC tweet of the week if you have a tweet that's AM, FM, DX related that you think is worthy of being the tweet of the week. And I've got an interesting one for us this week, and we're going to talk a bit about why this one was chosen here in just a moment. So let's start off.
It's time for the DX Central Live hashtag tweet of the week. Tweet. Tweet, tweet.
All right, our tweet of the week this week comes from our friend Charles in Southern California. I'll get it out a second. Down by San Diego. Had a potential here from South Korea on 891, which was obviously our 9 kilohertz frequency of the week this week. 600 local time. I wanted to bring this one up because I want to let's just expand this video here, let you guys listen to it, and we're going to talk about what we see here. So let's do it here. Yes, you. All right, so what are we looking at here? So obviously, Charles has SDR Sharp here. He's on 891. There's a couple things I want to call out about this and why I think it's such a great tweet, because it kind of encapsulates a couple of different things that I've talked about before about some DX techniques I want to make sure I kind of call out. Number one, he has a decently strong station there on 890, it looks like. So what did he do to kind of get away from that? He's on 891. He's in upper sideband mode. You'll see. If you look, 2 ways you can tell. One, obviously right here, he's got upper sideband chosen. And 2, if you look here, the shaded area here is up above the frequency he's on of 891. Why is that helpful? Well, what does that do? You can see here 891 below. By moving in upper sideband mode, he's actually moving further away from the slop that might be there from anything on 890. So when we're looking for these 9 kilohertz stations on things like 891 or any of these others, you can try to move yourself away from the slop that's related to that frequency by using either upper or lower sideband. Here he's using upper because he's a frequency above 890, right? One kilohertz above 890, so he's trying to move it away from it. If this was 1089, we're looking for England as an example, I would use lower sideband to get away from the slop on 1090. So an excellent use of technique here by Charles. We did hear a little bit of that time tone in there, and it looks like he also has some good noise reduction engaged in there as well with SDR Sharp. So overall, just some really good technique to try to, he's using the micro tuner, got that enabled as well. So yeah, there's a really good use of technique to try to bring in some transoceanic DX in here. Obviously, our friends on the West Coast have it a little bit easier for trans-Pacific DX, but even with that being said, you still have to contend with U.S. domestic stations that you want to get away from, and Charles done a really, really great job here doing so. So kudos to our friend Charles, and a fantastic demonstration of some technique here for our DXC tweet of the week.
It's time for the DX Central Live hashtag tweet of the week. Tweet. Tweet, tweet.
All right, so I'm trying to decide if I want to do it now or not. If I want to do the announcement now or do it a little bit later on. Hey, Justin, welcome to the stream, my friend. Says he might have some in and out E-skip happening up in Minnesota. Well, let's take a look. So here's our map, right? Let's take a look and see what we have here. Let's go to FM list. And I think I may have figured out a technique for some FMDX. I'm going to try it out this year. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I think I may have found a technique out that I can use to do a live stream for FMDX. I'm going to test it out during a Tropo opening here when we start having some Tropo here very soon. It should be any time. I'm going to test it out during a Tropo opening and see if it works. But I may have figured out something that I could do. Because the hard part with FMDX is I can't do a weekly stream because I don't know if every week there's going to be worthy FMDX conditions. And I can't just do it spur of the moment really well because of copyright stuff. Because the current music, which dominates FM, gets hit very more frequently by YouTube for copyright strikes. So I don't want to lose the channel potentially because of a copyright strike because of an FMDX stream. But I think I may have figured out a technique I can use to get around it. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on as we get some openings here on Tropo. Maybe see if we can't give you guys some opportunities for some FMDX streams. Why is this not coming up? fmlist.org. I don't have my list of maps that I can choose from here. Let's try this again. And when I try to go to my year here, 2022, it's not giving me nothing. I want to see if we have anything on map. Oh, okay. Oh, I misunderstood, Justin. And as soon as he tells me that, now the map works. He's saying he'll be in sporadically. Oh, they do have something going on in Europe right now. Look at this. Oh, that's just from today, period. Let's look at the last 30 minutes. So they had some e-skip opening over. So nothing right now. A little bit over here in Europe going on right now. Probably a little Tropo. Speaking of Tropo, let's look at that and see if we have anything going on Tropo-wise currently. Now this, for those of you who are not familiar, this is a map of a reported APRS. It's a packet system for ham radio that basically is on 2 meters. And if I have let's say I have a 2 meter rig and I'm in this APRS mode, it's going to broadcast my location out, right? And anyone who can see that, right, it automatically reports that back to the system. So if I'm in Louisiana and somebody in Florida sees me transmitting, now it gets reported back. And so we can have these propagation maps that kind of get populated because of it to say, hey, Florida's seeing Louisiana, we may have a little bit of an opening. Now, this is helpful for FMDX because it can help you spot Tropo openings. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, right? I've seen this before when I was in Charleston. You'd see this big opening from like New York down to Florida. And I'm thinking, oh, I should be able to get something. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But at least this might give you an idea if there is anything occurring to, what to check out. So we have a little bit of Tropo going on here. It looks like potentially in Kentucky, Southern Illinois, Southern Indiana into Missouri. A little bit of weak Tropo here. And obviously the lighter the color, the weaker the opening is, the more intense it is. I think actually the darker it is, the further it is. Isn't that it? The further away it is that somebody's hearing. You'll see when it's in red, you'll see these big red blobs along the coast and down here in the Gulf Coast. So we have a little bit of one down here in Louisiana going on right now to my west. Looks like I'm on the fringes of it here, so possibly something there. Sometimes if you zoom in, you'll get stuff you don't see on the larger map. So it looks like they got some stuff going on in the Carolinas. So Pop, if you're still on, you may have a little Tropo right now up your way down into Alabama, down into Georgia, up there in the mountains, Brasstown. Wink, wink. Let's see what we got going on here. Yep, nice one into a little bit of Ohio in here. Bill, looks like you might have something up your way up in Michigan area. And the whole Great Lakes region up here looks like there might be a nice little Tropo opening going on up here. So yeah, if you're an FMDXer, which, hey, the DX Central, we're all about radio, not just AMDX. I know we focus on that a lot here on the live stream because of what we talked about before, but we also do the FM stuff as well. And so if you're an FMDXer, keeping your eye on it, there you go. We may actually, because of the static crashes, we may actually try our technique out a little bit later on tonight if it's really abysmal on the AM side for conditions. So just got to plug in the FM Yagi back up, and then maybe we'll give that a shot. All right. See if there's anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our announcement. let's go ahead and rip this Band-Aid off while we're here. Let me change over to the camera here. So we've been doing the medium wave frequency challenge now for about a year. Started it last November, I think it was, when we did our first episode of season 2. And it's been a lot of fun. We've had a great time with it. And it was born out of this idea when WFME in New York on 1560 spun down, to the sunset to bring its big signal down. Everybody kind of flocked to 1560, right? And everyone was DXing it at the same time. So on social media and the email reflectors and the club bulletins, it was just 1560, 1560. And somebody made the comment, they were like, wow, we should do more of this. Like everybody DX at the same time on the same frequency. And I know some of the clubs have done some of that in the past with different contests and things like that. But I wanted to kind of resurrect that idea. And so that was where we kind of started doing the frequency challenge, or frequencies in some cases, of getting everybody to DX the same thing at the same time. And we're going to continue to do that. That's not going away. But we're going to add a new challenge. I wanted to do something to add a new layer of complexity, a new challenge for all of us to really challenge our AM and our AM DX skills, rather. And it's an area of DX, of AM DX, that I think can be a lot of fun, can be very rewarding, but it's super challenging. Really, really hard, actually. I feel like it's really, really hard. But it's something that every single one of us can do. This is not something where, the folks on the coast are going to have a better shot. West Coasters are going to be in a disadvantage because there's there's fewer stations on the West Coast than maybe on the East Coast. All that's wiped clean. This is an even playing field for everybody. And it's going to be a lot more than just a week at a time. So let's go ahead and make our announcement. So there you have it. We're launching the TIS Hard Challenge. So maybe those who might not be familiar, TIS, Travelers Information Station, HAR, Highway Advisory Radio. So if you've been driving down the road, maybe you're at an airport and it says for traveler information tuned to 1610 or 530 or whatever frequency. This is something that back in the 90s I was actually very fascinated by. And I remember listening from Brasstown, hearing Chicago, hearing down the coast of Texas, and the Kentucky from North Carolina, back before the expanded band was the expanded band, right? You have Anguilla on 1610, and then outside of that you had some testing stations every once in a while, but it was really just a smattering of TIS stations on 1620 and then a bunch on 1610. This is across the board. If you hear a station that is a TIS or HAR station, you can submit it for this challenge. From anywhere. We're going to have two categories. We're going to have a category for home DX. So if you submit loggings from your home location, you can do that. You can also travel. So holidays are coming up. Folks may be doing some traveling. If you're tuning around, you hear some TIS or HAR stations, maybe something by an airport, you can submit those loggings for our rover category, which is anyone who's out and about, not at home, basically. And so this is going to be running between now and the end of the season. The actual specific date will be TBD as we get a bit closer, but we're going to be doing it sometime in spring of 2023. We'll be wrapping it up for this season. But we're going to put the link for the Google form out here in a few minutes. And we're going to officially launch this here. It's open right now, basically. We started at 0100, so it's basically open now, I think, for anyone to start DXing TIS stations. So 530 and 1610 are still kind of like the primary frequencies for TIS stations, but they can be found on a lot of different frequencies. And if you need some help, because one of the things that's kind of challenging with those is, okay, well, how do I know what stations are out there? If you go to IRCA online, did I mess that up? Yeah, I did. IRCA online. There we go. If you go to IRCA, we'll have a link for this on the Google form itself and also on our website. If you go to the IRCA website, go to the free publications link under the bookstore. You're going to see a TIS HAR info link right here. And this is like the NRC AM radio log for TIS stations. So you've got some history on them, some information about what they are and how they work. And then you can see here a full list. Here's a bunch on 530. Here's a bunch on a couple of other frequencies here. Let me see. 540's got some, 620. 790, so you can see, and then we'll get eventually here to 1610, and there's just a ton of them on there. And then there's even some up above that on the expanded band. We have one here in Mandeville on 1700 for the Pontchartrain Causeway. Oh, I wasn't showing the screen, was I? Come on, Lloyd, get it together here, dude. There we go. There we go. That's the screen I was looking to show you. So this is the IRCA TIS HAR list. So you can download this, you can print it, you can have a digital copy, whatever. Like I said, we'll have a link for it in our Google form, and also on the website, which I think is now should be either live or about to be live with the new page for that. I'll send out that link as well. I'll be sending out a formal announcement on social media and email and everything here after the stream tonight to kind of announce this for everybody. But yeah, TIS HAR challenge. Any TIS station, any HAR station. When I was in Charleston, we had a NOAA weather radio relay on 530. That counts. Parks, airports, highway stuff. The station in Jersey on 1710. All of it. This is anything between 530 and that 1710. Any TIS HAR station, go nuts. And I'm going to leave this open. We're actually going to do it a little bit different on the challenge. Instead of having like weekly announcements and stuff like that for results, it's just going to continue on. And when you submit your logs, when you submit your receptions of TIS HAR stations, you're going to see, you're going to get an email of what you submitted, so you can see who you've already submitted. You're going to be able to see the results, live results, so you'll be able to actually see what people are hearing, and where you're at in the challenge, kind of. You'll be able to actually compare and kind of see as you go along. You can edit, so if you're like, oh, I messed that up, I need to go back and fix it, you can do that. So yeah, all that's there for you guys to be able to enjoy and have fun with. I'm looking forward to this one. I spent some time on 1610 this week, which is kind of what got me thinking about it. I was like, I only have one log station on 1610. It's this one up in Ontario. And I want to have 3 stations on every frequency, and that includes 1610. And so I was trying to hear some TIS. I had some stuff in there weak. I think possibly from Texas, but I wasn't sure. They never really came up enough for me to be able to kind of pull any content out. But I'm going to keep try some different techniques. The other thing here as well is if you have any air checks that you upload, if you grab an air check of a TIS station, you can also send that to us, a link to that YouTube link. And we'll add that to a YouTube playlist. So we all have all of the air checks that we all record in one location, so we can all kind of compare notes. So if you're listening on a station and you think, I want to see if maybe someone's already heard this station that I think I may be hearing, you can go look and see. Like, I'll have the one from here in Mandeville up, so that if anyone thinks maybe I'm hearing Mandeville, you can go up and listen to it and see if you want to compare it. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be super, super hard. But I think this can be one that's a lot of fun and be something a little bit different, right? Break us out of our routines of always DXing on the same frequency or frequencies, listening to network breaks and things like that. These are content on a loop. So you don't have to wait for top of the hour. Top of the hour is not the thing here. It's going to be on that loop. And so you may have an ID every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long that loop is. And so probably a little bit easier, I think, in that regard. But the signal levels and the other things on frequency make it a little bit harder. But again, you'll have 2 categories. You can do this from home, and you can also do it on the road as well. So if you want to do a rover and a home, you can. You can do both. I want this to be open for everybody just to have some fun. I'm contemplating some prizes for this one. Of what I want to kind of do for this one. I want to make it something a little bit different, a little bit special. So I'm contemplating some prizes. Well, there will be something that we do out at the end of this one. I just don't know yet what it's going to be. I have some ideas, some things that I think would be kind of fun to do. So we shall see. But yeah, you guys, I'll put the link in the chat here in a bit for the Google form so that you can go ahead and get started on this right away if you'd like to do so. Yeah, Jim's mentioning the one there in New Jersey, in Hudson, New Jersey on 1710, even being heard over in Europe. So that's a good one. I heard that one in Charleston quite a bit when I was down there. I haven't heard it here yet, but we're going to try for it. So good luck to everyone in that one. And hopefully this will be a fun challenge for us all to participate in. Let's go back and let's look here. Let me look and see. I've zoomed out the water. They actually added a new waterfall feature here in Jaguar for our Perseus friends. And all you have to do to get to it is you just right click on the zoom out button and it zooms out. You can get nice and wide here, or you can zoom back in. And then once you get down to a certain point, it goes back to our traditional spectra display that we're used to. I'm just looking to see how the conditions look here from lightning crashes and so forth. Looks like we might still have some of that in there. So with that being said, let's go back to our Elad FDM-S3. I'm going to also plug in the FM antenna, and we might check and see if we have any tropo conditions here in a bit. But first, the Elad FDM-S3 on 930. Yeah, Jim, good point. Talking house stations. Anything, definitely anything on that list. On that IRCA list, we're gonna honor anything that's on that list for sure.
Con la religión suelen ser bastante altos. La gente, pues, cuando tú hablas de esos temas, porque me gustaría yo, bueno, por lo menos yo nunca he visto a Cristo, yo nunca he tenido una experiencia que no sea vivencial, yo puedo dar fe de que siendo redundante a base de mi fe, yo he logrado, pues, de alguna forma satisfacer muchas necesidades terrenales porque me dan mucha tranquilidad. Pero para darles y sacar el tema esto desde mi punto de vista, mire, me sentí como Alan Maccabee, como lo hubiera dicho Alan Maccabee.
Bueno, para hacer este tema desde mi punto de vista, vamos entonces en este momento a escuchar un audio.
Lo decimos con cariño, Alan, que me ha hecho voz. Por ahora ni me quiere conocer. El bien open. Le dieron esta tarea a un grupo de teólogos, a expertos en computadoras y a expertos en inteligencia artificial. Y le dijeron, con todo...
Nice catch, Rick. We'll be doing our shout-outs here in a bit.
¿Cómo sería Jesús de Nazaret? Y le pusieron toda esta información a la computadora. Y les voy a decir, yo tengo aquí la fotografía.
Yeah, I'm hoping for WGAD in here tonight on the Northeast Wire. I haven't heard them all. We heard WTAD in Quincy, Illinois, but not WGAD Alabama. I'm really hoping they're in here somewhere.
Bueno, pero hay mucha gente que se resisten y si tú te vas un poco a la historia, hay un erudito bíblico de Princeton, James Chersworth, que dijo Jesús con más probabilidad era de piel café oscuro y bronceado. Más antiguas ilustraciones de un Jesús adulto demostraban de aspecto oriental y de piel café. Sin embargo, para estos siglos, algunos artistas bizantinos comenzaron a pintar a Jesús con piel blanca, barba y cabello con el partido en el partido del medio. Esta idea de estándar. Una colonia occidental de la mayor parte que cortó su imagen blanco en un entero. Sin embargo, entendieron el mensaje de Jesús. Algunos testigos del siglo
Let's check the flex here on the W6 LVP loop, and oh wow, I can see the jumping up and down there from the lightning. I need to move it to lower sideband, get away from that slop from my local. Yeah, they're getting closer to you, Keegan. Here's mine that I have here to my southwest. You've got some right to your west, or southwest, I guess. You got some heading in your general direction as well. They love the Beatles up there, don't they, Bill? That's the second week in a row. Speaking of Beatles fans, new deluxe edition of Revolver, which is my favorite Beatles album, came out today with a bunch of extra goodies, remixes from Giles Martin, and a bunch of others. So a bunch of other cool stuff. So definitely, Beatles fans, we want to check that one out. And I'll probably be forking out some money to buy that album again. Take care, Jim. I'm assuming, Barry, that's who we have here, right? I'm assuming this station I'm hearing now is Jacksonville. If not, then it's XESAME down in Mexico. Thanks, Les. Take care, my friend, and happy anniversary. By the way, congratulations. 40 years, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So be safe out there, my friend. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do more live AMDX. We're going to do our announcement for our new frequencies of the week. We'll try some of that out. And we may try a little TIS Heart Station workout a little later on. We might do a little FM. We'll see. We'll take a look and see what we got here, especially as we have such kind of shoddy conditions here with the lightning and stuff like that. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, more live AMDX right here on DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News member bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. All right, so the word's out. We got the TIS Hard Challenge out there. I just put the link to the our website where we have some information on the challenge, including the Google form. So you can do two things. I'm going to put the actual Google form link here in the chat here in a few minutes, so you can bookmark that, or you can bookmark our actual website, which wouldn't hurt my feelings if you did that, because that drives traffic to our website. Wink, wink, nod, nod. You can actually bookmark the TIS Hard Challenge website, the page, actual page itself. Because also on there, I have the form. You can just directly enter the stuff from the form on that page. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. We have it up now and running. We also have some links here for you to the IRCA list. We have our playlist on YouTube for my air checks and anyone else who sends me air checks, which you can do by clicking right here on this info@dxcentralonline.com link. It'll pop up an email with the subject line and everything that I need, and it'll come right to me, and then you can just send me the link to your air checks if you have those that you upload to YouTube. And yeah, there you go. So we've put that up on Facebook, on Twitter, and on the email reflectors. We're about 3 minutes away from the top of the hour here, so getting close to our top of the hour alert. But before we do, we have a little bit more business we need to take care of. There you can see I put it up on Twitter. One more piece of business we need to take care of. It's time to announce our new frequency of the week for the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge, week number 6. So we're back to a range this week. We're doing 1500 to 1550, which I think is going to be pretty nice because I was looking at my logbook. I've got quite a bit in that little range there. I was actually kind of surprised at how much I actually have in that range, except for 1510. I have a little work I need to do there on 1510. So actually that's where I'm going to start. Probably. Well, maybe not. We'll see. We'll start on 1500. So let me go ahead and move that over. Yeah, we'll start on 1500, but 1500 to 1550, that's our frequency range for this week. That does include, obviously, anything in between. So 1521 Saudi Arabia. I want to see somebody log that one. We didn't have a lot of transoceanic stuff the last 2 weeks. I want to see some Saudi Arabia on the logs this week. Let's go ahead and do the top of the hour thing. Top of the hour alert, and we're doing some live DX. This hour brought to you by the folks at the International Radio Club of America. IRCAonline.org is your website for more information. And we're going to start on 1500. Now, these are all frequencies for the most part. 1500's got like 2 stations or 3 stations that are kind of dominant there, depending on where you are in the country. 1510's got a couple that are dominant, especially LAC, my God. 1520, we have a couple. I got Oklahoma here in my neck of the woods. It's kind of a pain. 1530 CKY in Ohio. 1540's got some interesting stuff. KXEL and some others. 1550's got Rebellion and a bunch of other stuff. So with that being said, because there's kind of some dominant stations here, I wanted to give us a couple of different frequencies to try out and give us a range. So let's start 1500 and see. Do we have Minnesota tonight? Do we have DC? Let's see. Sounds like we got some high school football here. I'll pop the Google form link over here in a minute. There's your form for week 6. Keep sending over your new logs, states, countries. We'll be doing shout-outs after the top of the hour. Yes, I do. There was a time. Oh, hold on. I'll tell the story. A second.
Commercial break. We'll be right back. The start Wildcat football on WC at 1700 AM. Hey, we'll be better next week. Y'all better be ready. We'll be right back.
What'd he say? Take care, Alan. Is that VSM? I wish I could. I don't have rewind on the Elad SDR console. Hint, hint, hint. Simon.
All right, y'all. We get ready to kick the ball off.
Me too, Bill. I'll talk about that in a minute. Because there's a very specific reason why we did that. Isn't there a red one in here? I thought maybe. Yeah, that's as close as I got. It's gonna be 1500 to 1550, Justin. Everything in between.
With 5 minutes and 48 seconds in the first half.
And did you hear the announcement, Justin, on the new challenge? I'm not sure if you were here for that one or not. We're doing a new challenge on TIS and HAR stations.
About 3 yards from the play. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
I just put the links up on Facebook groups and Twitter with the link to our website where we have all the details.
Again, invite you all to come out tomorrow night. First down, Wildcat. 4 minutes and 55 seconds left in the half. We'll get back in the studio in a minute to find out what the score. We'll look acceptable, the rest of it, and happen.
Line one up on the right point, play by side, offensive one.
I know, right? Yikes.
bring a fourth down. It's still a roll. 10 seconds left. I think Coach is going to let the front throw up. We're going to win this first half. 40 yards to 0, 54. And we're going to go to halftime. No, he said he's going to wait about put 1 second back on the clock. 1 second back on the clock.
Thought you might like that, Justin. Sounds like that football broadcast is getting a little glitchy. A little digital interference. was hurting my neck for a second. I'm looking up here, doing all the stuff for the challenge and the TIS challenge and all the other stuff, just getting all that stuff out there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do shout outs, and we're going to do some more DX here on 1500 and that range of 1500, 1550. And we may dabble a little bit into the TIS range as well. Maybe see if we have anything on 1610. I don't know. Maybe it will be there or not. I don't know. We'll see. Let me do this. No, yep, that one's good. And there. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, more live DX right here on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AM/DX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AM/DXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AM/DXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News member bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. We got some storms off the coast. A little bit of rain heading this way, so here in a bit I'll probably be going outside and removing my vactrols from the yard because they are a little sensitive to lightning. I don't want to fry those. I've had it happen before. I had a lightning strike in Charleston that was so close it fried one of my vactrols, and it wasn't even that close, really, honestly. So we packed a lot in tonight, haven't we? We talked about our week 4 results. We finished up on 9:30. We've announced our new frequency of the week, 1500, 1550. We've announced our new TIS HAR hard challenge. And I just put all that out. So we've got the blog post up with the results and the new Google form out on social media. On the email reflectors, we've got the TIS post with the link to our website that has all the information you need from there. So all that is now out, and we've actually already got kudos, Johnny on the spot over here, with 3 logs already for the TIS hard challenge. And actually, what you see here, these charts, you're going to be able to see these after you've entered a login. You'll be able to see these charts and things like that. So you'll be able to come here and actually see, okay, John's got 3, but, you know, let's say I log 1. Now I have 1, and John's got 3, and then you'll see Bill's got like 6 or whatever, you know, so you'll be able to actually track this, including by the categories here. I think I've got, yeah, right now everything's at home. If we have any rover categories, things like that. So you'll be able to track all this stuff and see it and kind of see what you've already put in. Which brings me to my next thing I wanted to kind of talk about really quick. Let's look at our form for week 6, because we do have a little bit of a difference this week, and Bill actually brought it up, so I'm gonna actually bring up the form here for us to look at. And by the way, you guys are already behind because Bill's already got 2 logs and John's already got 2 logs for this week's challenge, so get going. You're already behind. So let's look at the form this week, because I did make a change and I want to talk about that. So you guys know I'm not in love with the Google form. I wish it was easier. What I want, and if anybody knows of a place or a website or whatever that does this, please let me know, because this is what I want. I want to have it so that you basically can register, right? What I wanted to have was like our website. You register on our website. You can put in your name, your email address, your location, and all that would pre-populate on the form, right? You could change it if you wanted to, but it would pre-populate. And then you just fill out the details of like the things that don't change, right? So if you always use the same radio, always use the same antenna, you can pre-populate defaults for that. It just gives you then whatever options you want to use for that. If you wanted to change it from like I was on my Southeast cast and on my Northwest cast, I could change that to do that, but I wouldn't have to type it in. It could be like an option I could choose from. Google's not that exotic and not that smart, right, as far as a Google form goes. So that's why some of these you have to kind of fill out every time your email address, every time you have to put in your name, every time you have to put in your location, that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to make it easier for both you guys to put stuff in and for me to do the analysis. And the part that I've been struggling with the most over the years, last 2 years for analysis, was down here at the bottom. And that was the radio and the antenna. Those two take the absolute most time because everybody types in like whatever they have, like, 200-foot infed, Northeast CAS, 15 by 50 Superloop, and maybe this time you type it in as Superloop with a uppercase L, the next time you do it lowercase L. Well, now that's 2 different entries on the form on the spreadsheet, so they don't line up when I do the analysis. So I have to combine that and all this other stuff. So what I've done is I've actually separated out what I kind of consider to be the most commonly used stuff for radios. We have SDR, AirSpy, Elad, Flex, and so if you have any AirSpy SDR or any SDR play, they all kind of go into the same kind of category now. It's an SDR play SDR. We're not going to get much more granular than that. You have a portable C crane, portable Panasonic. If you have an RF2200 or an RF3100, it's still a Panasonic portable. And then the same thing on antennas. I kind of took the ones that I saw that were being kind of most commonly used. And then I still, on both of these, leave an option for others. So you can still put in, if you don't see anything that really fits any of these options that are on here, you can still type in your own. Like, I have an internal antenna, but if you wanted to say, I have a internal antenna with the Gary DeBach ferrite stick, the big enhanced stick, you can type that in. That's fine. But this at least helps me get majority of it kind of consistent. It makes it easier for you guys to just kind of click what you got. And then go on about your business to do the next one. So that's a change this week that I've put in for the radio and the antenna to make it a little easier, so you don't have to type it in every time. So hopefully you guys like that. I'm always going to be looking for ways to improve the form, but that's where we are as of this week. So, all right, let's get back to some live AMDX. We're on 1500 right now. Our range for the week is 1550 to 1500 to 1550. So let's do some more Live DX. This hour of Live DX brought to you by International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org. Please go there for more information about becoming a member and taking advantage of things like the TIS HAR list or the DX Monitor member bulletin that they have and things along those lines. Same thing with NRC, nationalradioclub.org for them, and the DX News. I always say become a member of both. There's no reason not to. They're super cheap if you get the online version for DX News, and you get the discounts on the NRC log, and then you, like, for $5, you've got your membership in the IRCA, and you got all that stuff there. So definitely go to both of those. You're not going to regret it if you do. All right, let's go back to the DX 1500 where we are. Before we do that, let's go back for a second. Let me back it up. I don't remember if I have this set up to do. Yes, I do. Okay. Okay. So I can do this. We're going to do some shout outs here. We got a handful of people that have put some accomplishments this week into the chat. We're going to do another one of these before we wrap up tonight. So if you are not mentioned here, you can still put your stuff in the chat, and I'll get to you on the next round here later on tonight. So starting with Carl. Carl got 8 new ones this week. So Carl, you know what that means. Yeah. 8 new ones for Carl. 9 new ones for Bill. All on 930. Congratulations, Bill. Tom Laskowski, our top dog of the week. 7 new ones this week for Tom. I threw a couple of extra horns in there since you're top dog. Congratulations, my friend. Rob, 10 new ones from West Union. You'd think at this point Rob wouldn't have many more that he hadn't heard already, but 10 new ones for Rob this week. Good job, my friend. Jeff, I closed it out, but I'll go back and open it up for you. Give you a chance to get those in. Just give me a few minutes here. Alan in the chat had 8 new ones this week. Congratulations, Alan. That was Alan in, not Alan Sykes. Alan in. And hey, we're gonna toot our own Van Horn here. 12 new ones this week. Let me give you the rundown what we had. You guys were here for a lot of this. WFAT, Battle Creek, Michigan, Cha-ching. We had WSEV, Sevierville, Tennessee, KDET, Center, Texas, KLUP, Terrell Hills, WTAD, Quincy, WWON, Waynesboro, KCCC, Carlsbad, New Mexico. Big cha-ching on that one. XESAME in, I can't read my own handwriting here. Saltillo, I think it is. Oh, Saltillo. S is an A. Saltillo, Mexico, and WSFZ in Jackson, Mississippi, all on 930. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new ones on 930. But wait, there's more. We got 560 KLZ in Denver. Big excitement about that one, my friends. I'm super happy about that one. The West Superloop coming into play on that one. And then 2 new ones from Mexico. This one we probably, I don't know why I didn't have this one already in the logbook. XEFCR in Reynosa on 1670. That one should have already been there, but we got it. And then thanks to some help from folks on Facebook, we got XELRDA 580 in Piedras Negras, Mexico. 12 new ones, so let's go ahead and do a little bit. There we go. Again, if you have a shout out that you want, if you got a new log, a new state, a new country, make sure you let us know in the chat, and we'll give you that shout out before we wrap up tonight's the program. Back to the live AMDX we go. We're still sitting on 1500. Let's make it happen, Kevin. right, Jeff. I've opened up the form again for week 5 for 9:30. So go ahead and let me know when you're done. But I've opened it up for you. You should be good to go. Hey, I'm sorry, Rick. I even saw that in the chat and I forgot to write you down. Big props to Rick. Got himself a new one on a graveyarder on 1400 KMHL in Marshall, Minnesota. Yeah. Anytime you get a new one on a graveyard, it's always nice. And I saw Steve up in British Columbia, Steve McDonald, the E7SL, great friend of the channel here. 736 miles to Cody, Wyoming from British Columbia on 1400 last week. Crazy, huh? That's awesome. Let's go back to 1500. It's funny you mention that, Carl. When I was in Lake Forest, California last time, I was doing some IQ recordings with my AirSpy and my W6 LVP loop in the hotel room, and I also had this little guy, my Sangean HDR 14. Had that sitting, and I was sitting on the bed, kind of tuning it around, you know, turning it and stuff. Had the SDR running over on the side. I could hear the station in Utah, I forget the call letters, on 650. I could hear them on the Sangean country music. Could not hear them on the SDR. Now I had my antenna pointed a different way than I did this, so that's probably why. But sometimes, like I was actually telling Dad earlier this week or last week, some of the stations I've heard, like KNX, KFI, I heard them on my W6 LVP loop, in the Perseus, that combo, the W6 LVP loop. I have not heard them since, including on the West Superloop. So sometimes those antennas, the way the angles of these signals come in, it can be a little different for something like a loop compared to a sophisticated thing like a kHz. You know, you might be able to get really good down in the South America with a kHz, or, you know, far away with a kHz, but sometimes some of those other ones can overshoot the kHz or undershoot the kHz, and so you don't hear it, or the Superloop or whatever. Sometimes, and that's why I like to have options with things like my W6 LVP loop. I still have that, and I still use it on a regular basis because of stuff like that. That's it. KMTI, Country 650. That was it. Thank you, Keegan.
Let's go. So let's see what they're going to do here. Podcast is up on the field here. Thank you for all our sponsors. Thank you so much.
All right, Carl. KXCL, let's see if we have them.
You're in the gun.
WLAZ.
Nice timing on that one. I've mentioned this one before, and I think I know a couple of you guys. I think Dave actually might have mentioned it, or Keegan, one of the two. On this frequency, point your antennas, if you're able to do so, towards the south or towards South America, and this is a really great frequency for Ecuador. I talk about it in my article in the video that I did on the 10 countries you can try to hear on AM radio tonight. Ecuador, Radio Monumental, here on 1510. This is a really good candidate for the co-channel canceller and SDR Sharp if you're using like an AirSpy or something like that. Definitely break out the co-channel canceller and see if you can get rid of like LAC in this case, or if you have another dominant on the frequency, you can kind of nudge them out, or phasing if that is what you have instead, and see if you can hear Monumental. They are sitting at an offset that makes them easy to spot. It is 1509.9887. So basically 1509.98, so it's a little lower off the frequency, off the main frequency. Let me actually see. Let me bring up my. I don't have anything pointing that direction, but 1509.9887. Look for Radio Monumental. If you have a phaser or that code channel canceller and SDR sharp, or just if you're really good with nulling and things like that, you can give it a shot. So it's easy to spot that offset. But if you can get rid of LAC or whatever you have dominating the frequency, you might have a good shot at Ecuador here. This is, I think, the easiest to hear from Ecuador. 1510 Radio Monumental. Give him a shot.
Oh, yeah, he has 2 boys with his first wife. Okay. And I have a son, and I pretty much raised him alone.
I guess here on 1510, from here is going to be OKC. KOKC on 1520. We may also have... I've heard KRHW here in Sikeston, Missouri. We have a semi-local here over in Lafayette, KFXZ. We have another one here in Cyprus, KYND. Those are the ones that we've heard here on 1520. I would like to have a shot at... I used to hear, obviously, KB up in Buffalo. That used to be my dominant here, but I don't have that as a dominant anymore. DSL in Moxville, North Carolina, gets out fairly well. So that could be a candidate for a lot of you on the East Coast to look for. I'm not super familiar with the West Coast stuff. I think KVEN or KMPG, one of the two, I think, was what I had from Lake Forest when I was there. There's not much here in Mexico. We have the one over here in what is that? San Luis Rio, Colorado. So that's an option there, but not much else in Mexico. Nothing really in Cuba on 1520. Not a lot down south here really on 1520, if I'm gonna be honest. 1530. This is another one of those frequencies. Oh, I'm not even showing you guys the right screen. I gotta quit doing that. I gotta quit hopping screens and not showing it to you. 1530. Obviously, WCKY for our East Coast folks. KFBK for our West Coast folks. KGBT down here in Harlingen is actually another good one here, I think, for quite a few folks. But if you're gonna look down south, Radio Avivamiento down in Panama, this is another one of those that was on my list. They have a super nasty, horrible sounding distorted audio. So if you're listening on 1530 and you just hear something that sounds like it's coming out of like a wood chipper, that's probably them down in Panama. So that could be a good option for folks to try to hear a new country this week on 1530. Obviously, I mentioned 1521 is an option for folks to try to get Saudi Arabia. I want transatlantic stuff this week. I want to see some transatlantic DX. WYMM around Sunset and Jacksonville is another one. East Coast folks you might shoot for. 1540, we got KXCL obviously up here in Waterloo. We've got KMPC out here in LA. We've got Chin up in Ontario, up in Toronto Island. But I think another good one for you folks to keep in mind is ZNS1, Bahamas. 810. I feel like 810's been getting out better over the last couple of months or year or so, but ZNS1 is still another good one to shoot for. If you have a shot, if you hear Miami, you've got a shot at ZNS here. Maybe even better if you don't hear Miami, you might still have a shot at ZNS. So give them a shot. Their online stream matches up usually pretty well. What else do we have? There's not much else down here on 1540 to look at. 1550. That's one I want. I want that one in Tucson, Sunset, so I'll be shooting for that. We have a big wall down here in Rebeldy on the southeastern side from where I am. I've got a station here in Baton Rouge as well. I don't really have a whole lot on 1550, I don't feel like. Let me pull up the log. 1550. I think I totaled it up. If I heard everything on these frequencies that I've already heard on these frequencies, I would have 30 this week. So that's my kind of like potential there. 1550. So I got Cape Girardeau, which is here. KAP. That's one that I do have. We've got Baton. We've got Tampa down here to be AMA. We've got Medill here, KMAD. We've got, obviously, we got the Rebeldy wall. So that's what we have here We got these three. We got Tampa and Rebeldy down here. Just mark one of these as white. So I don't forget about that. So yeah, I think there's some good potential here on 1550 to really rack up some totals. LOR here in Huntsville is a good option. Smyrna. I forgot to pronounce that one. AZX there in Georgia. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of work on trying to get Tucson over here. I don't know a thing about them, but that stands out like as an option that I could potentially be looking at. So there you go. So 1500, we look at that one. Oh, I don't think we looked at that yet. We have 1500 KSTP up in Justin's land and Todd's land up in Minnesota. FED for our East Coasters. When I was in Charleston, it took me forever to hear anything on 1500 besides WFED. I stalked this frequency for months and months and months, and I finally got one. I think it was actually KCLF here in New Roads that I actually heard from Charleston, if I remember right. But I only had like 2 stations on 1500 when I was in Charleston. Now I've got Mexico here. I've got our local here in New Roads. I've got Alabama. We've got a Indiana station. I have heard DC. I actually have heard Minnesota here as well. So hoping, look at this big gap out west. What do you guys get out there? West Coast people, besides maybe KSJX, what are you hearing on 1500 out west? Is there anything coming in? Because damn, that's a big gap. 1510, we've got KGA up in Washington. We've got LAC here in Tennessee. We've got, this one is always one. Coco, WWBC, I used to hear them quite a bit when I was in Charleston. So up and down the coast, you have a good shot there. So yeah, we got a good smattering here on 1500 through 1550. I think some good stuff that we can look for. So hopefully a good week for all of us. Let's go back to 1520 and see what we got here.
Model would say it was going to be 40 and 45. One of these was in the mid-20s.
That makes sense, Earl and Charles. I mean, that's a big wide area of nothing.
We wrote an article. I wrote the article 9 days before, 7 days before it went on feedback. This thing went.
Thanks, Earl. That gives me hope. I think I'm going to give Tucson a big hearty shot this week. As a matter of fact, let's just go there now and see what we got. I'm not on my West Wire. I do have my West Wire now I can reuse because it sounds like the lightning has calmed it down a bit. Let's try it. There's Cuba. Let me see if I can get rid of Cuba here. Are they day only, Tucson?
Sí, pero déjame decirte, mira, en el caso de Camino, ¿okay? Yo he investigado bastante. Y muchas de las cosas que la gente me dice que hay conspiración internacional, diciendo, mira, por ejemplo, Camino desaparece. Cristina Magalán,
Okay. So yeah, that's Robbie spending most of my week. That actually reminds me, another thing to look for on 1540. I see this all the time on social media. I'm on 1540 and I've got a station here with a big head, like 1540.25, 24, somewhere in there. That is WKVQ, Eatonton, Georgia, rather. So definitely, if you're on 1540, like let's go there now. There's that 225. Let's see here. If I can back it out a little. I don't have them right now. I'm on my west wire. I have them nulled out. That's why. I bet if I was to switch it over to my southeast, or my northeast, I bet my northeast has got them. Over here on the Elad. Let's take a look and see. Let me... Oh, yeah. I'm seeing it real big there now. This is my northeast wire. You see that guy off by itself? Right here? That's them. That's 1540.2. You can see it here. That's Eatonton, Georgia. They have Urban Gospel as the format. So if you're on 1540, especially East Coast folks, but I think it gets out pretty well because it's so far off frequency, and you hear a big old hit above 1540, and you can zero it down to about 1540.2.5 somewhere, 2425. You got yourself Georgia, Eatonton, Georgia. Not hearing them at all. I didn't know. I mean, actually, when I'm looking at it here, that looks like 1540.02. So that het that I was seeing there was 02. So I don't see anything around .2, 2425. I don't see them there. So yeah, they must not be on right now. I wonder if they've fixed it, or if because they would stay on pretty late too, if I remember right. I think they're supposed to be, where was my frequency here? 1540. They're supposed to power down. The list I have shows them at 1.6K at night. So they're supposed to power down, but they're so far off frequency. But it looks like maybe they're off. I wonder if they got their hand slapped. KQNM, all right. I'll have to keep that one in mind. I'm looking for the New Mexico's as well. Got rid of Cuba. All right, we're going to do one more quick last break here. And we'll come back. We're going to finish up this hour here. We'll see what we can hear on 1550. Maybe if we can get something snuck in. We'll see. So, yeah, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more DX Central Live right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teak Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teakpublishing.com for more information. That's teakpublishing.com. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. We're sitting on 1550 right now, which is the upper end of our medium wave frequency challenge frequencies of the week. We're doing 1500 to 1550. Did put all the posts out on social media and up on our website. We have our blog post, so if you missed it and you still want the form, you can also go to our website, dxcentralonline.com, and you can grab the link for the form from our most recent blog post. We also have launched our new challenge, the TIS Hard Challenge, for travelers information stations and highway advisory radio stations, wherever they might find themselves on the band. We're opening up this challenge now through the end of the DX season, through the end of our season. We also have a post. We actually have an entire page on that on our website, so make sure you check that out as well. They have the Google form and everything else, so check us out there. Let's go back to 1550. I'm just curious. I don't know if I'm going to hear Arizona. It's a little late, probably closer to sunset, but let's give them a shot. Let's see what we hear on 1550 tonight.
Y le amenazó de muerte mientras exigía ver a la presidenta de la Cámara. La presidenta y su familia han dado las gracias por las muestras de apoyo y sobre todo dando las gracias al equipo médico que ha atendido y que continúa atendiendo a Paul Pelosi. Ha habido un rechazo por este tipo de acciones.
Yeah, and the Superloop's pointing right at him, Alan. It might be a tough one to get around if I'm trying Arizona. Here we go.
I didn't have a red option.
Let's get Epa to give me a red. It's either them or Rebeldy Berry. Gotta be. I'll pop down to 1540 here in a minute. I'm gonna rewind it here on 1550 and 1540 both. I think I just got. They never did ID. I'm sure they probably did eventually or whatever. But that's the PFC here in Baton Rouge. Is our dominant station there with the gospel that we're hearing. Winning people for Christ. Their slogan apparently. Nice. Let's look at 1540 here and do a quick check of that at the top of the hour. See what we have. See if we have anything like what you guys read. So I'm sure that's KEDA, the one that was mentioning San Antonio. But I want to know who this is fading up with news here. I'm guessing KXEL? Possibly?
Warning of a heightened threat to the midterm.
Bill with the hammer. Laying it down. Again, that's why we pay him the big bucks.
By a rise in domestic violent extremism. That's according to a joint intelligence bulletin obtained by CBS News. Hearing the meeting.
9814.
And his signature song, Then there were the scandals. Lewis is married to his 13-year-old cousin Myra, later followed by the suspicious death of his two other wives. The entertainer also had bad habits. Still didn't stop him from having a very long career. Join on CBS News.
Billionaire Elon Musk now has control over Twitter and fired members of the executive board.
Top executive who will report retired is the giant Gaddy, who oversaw Twitter's policy on misinformation. Musk has been outspoken against
All right, let's go back here to top of the hour. Let's grab. Let's just. I'm gonna see what 1530 has here on the West Superloop.
St. Xavier students come up to the fence and greet a very excited St. Xavier Bomber football team. Tell you what, a team that has had, I'll be honest with you, kind of a tough season. They've had several really tight losses. Everybody is sitting home and saying, what's wrong with them? Boy, did they respond tonight. Come back with a huge 42-28 victory over the Fairfield Indians. And it doesn't get much better than this down in front of us, Ralph.
No, the team's going to sing the alma mater with the students here. This is just an unbelievable sight.
Well, as they do that, we're going to take our final break and then come back and wrap things up from Fairfield High School. Again, the final score here from Fairfield. The St. Xavier Bombers 42, the Fairfield Indians 28. We'll be back in just a moment.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter.
Yep, that's them.
Actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. Some of our other companies might deliver a lot of hay. ZipRecruiter finds you.
Okay, so 1510. So actually, I don't have my AirSpy plugged in. I don't have a south wire set up right now pointing at them. My northwest southeast is northwest. My north south is gone. I took it down, and my northeast southwest is northeast right now. But 1510 is Radio Monumental here in Ecuador. Or I was asking about this one. So, their offsets way down below the main carrier frequency 1510. So you should be able to spot them pretty easily if they're coming in. So you'll want to kind of point in that general direction towards South America. For me, it's 157 degrees, which my northeast or my north-south wire, my 150 degree south wire was pointed pretty much right at them. And so I would get them. They'd be a nice little signal coming in. Let me give you a little sample though of what they sounded like here when they were coming in. So I'll take you back to our channel here on YouTube. And let me go to my playlists. Actually, I don't have to do that. I can just go right here to the home. And I tried to get all this kind of separated out. So you have all the different air checks by, here's South America, Caribbean and Central America, here's by state. So I try to kind of organize everything this way so you guys can find stuff pretty easily. I have all my Mandeville, all my Charleston, all that kind of stuff in here. So let me go back down here. Here's Ecuador. I've got 2 air checks. So this first one is Radio Monumental here on 1510. So this is an example of what they can sound like. Their music is very distinct. It doesn't sound like Cuba. Doesn't sound like Mexico. And they do have a good live stream here as well. Monumental. They have a good web stream as well on their website. Where's my cursor? There it is. They're in Quito. So here's their website. So let me just give you a little bit of taste of what they got live right now. Where is their live stream? Where'd it go? In vivo. Well, that's what I was clicking on. Listen to us like here. Oh, well, it doesn't look like it's loading right now. Sometimes I'll see that. It'll go down for whatever reason. But when it's up and running, it's one of those stations I would love to listen to. Here's what I had them. This was January 25th. So this is a good time of the year to hear them. They've been strongest for me in late November, December, January, but I haven't really looked in October, early November, so I'm sure they're there. If you get good conditions, especially on like a good Aurora night or, a Southern Enhancement night, if nothing else. So here's where we had them. For 3 kilowatts, they get out. All right, they get out big time. So that this is one I would definitely try. Their offset, you can see. So here, right here in this middle part, this was the LAC offset. This was Monumental off to the left. And so this was on my south cas pointing right at them. So you're going to want to throw something in their direction and then look for this offset kind of down below LAC or down below whatever you've got there. And you might have a shot at them. And if they're up, if their website is up and running and the stream is running, their stream is usually very close to their live signal. When I've seen it up, it's usually pretty close. And there's not a big lag between them, not a big delay there. So definitely something to keep an eye on this week. I mentioned Panama on 1530, Bahamas on 1540. 1500, by the way, is a good one. Another good one for Peru. Or a good one for Peru, rather, sorry. So Ecuador is on 1510. Peru is on 1500. Radio Santa Rosa. That's the one you were asking about. Sorry, Earl. I completely fudged that. You were asking about Peru. I was talking about Ecuador. So Ecuador is 1510. Peru is Radio Santa Rosa. Their offset is also super easy to find on 1500. It's 1499.7456. So way down below 1500. I haven't captured any what I consider air check quality audio from them yet. But it's going to be down here. Let me zoom back in just a little. Down in this area down. So it's going to be like 1499.75-ish. If you see an offset down there, same thing. Point your antenna down to Santa Rosa. You can hear some audio. They're 18K, so they get out pretty well. And that offset makes them super easy to spot. The trick is getting enough in there to get the audio out of them. So, but that is Peru. Ecuador is 1510. 1530 is Panama. 1540 is Bahamas. Those are the main ones for Latin Americans on this range that we have here. So, and then the other Peru is 1090 for me. Radio Vision in Tumbes, Peru. That's still I'm actually, I was going to do that one. I was going to do like 1090 to something this week, but I'm holding on to that one until I get my south wire back up because I want to go back and revisit Peru again on 1090. That's still my absolute favorite catch that I've ever gotten on AM radio. Absolutely love Tumbes, Peru there on 1090. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to wrap up. I got a Pelicans game to watch. Wife will be coming home from work here in a bit. We got some DX to do. I got to go out here and unplug some vactrols so that the storms don't get a hold of them. So we got some stuff to take care of here. So a couple of reminders. First, if you are so inclined, if you've enjoyed yourself tonight, we'd love it if you are not yet subscribed to the channel to do so. And give us a thumbs up on the video as well here for the live stream. And leave a comment and let us know what you thought. We'd love to hear any feedback you have, good or bad. I'm a big boy. I can take it. So, but we do appreciate your support here. We're closing in on our goal. I originally said I didn't really care about monetizing the channel because it didn't really make that much of a difference. But then YouTube decided to start throwing ads on non-monetized channels. And I said, well, if you're going to throw ads on my videos, I want the money. I want to cut. So we're trying to get to that monetization level, which is we need about another 100 or so, 200 or so watch hours, which tonight should help with that. And then about another 40 or so, I think we're at like 53 now, 953. So about 40 or so more subscribers, and we'll hit our first goal of 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours in the last year. And then we can start getting a cut of the ads that they're putting on my videos anyway. So your subscriptions to the channel, your likes, your comments, all that kind of stuff definitely helps out. Follow us over on Twitter, twitter.com/DXCentral. We'd love to interact with you there as well. We post tips, tricks, videos, stuff that I'm hearing, things like that. Whenever we put new videos up, we usually post them there. We make announcements there, like the frequency challenge and stuff like that. We usually post our links there and put reminders up for people during the week. So make sure you're following us if you're on Twitter, as well as on Facebook. We typically post in the social media groups, so make sure you're joining those. The MWDX from the NRC, AMDXing, and Justin's I Love AM Radio. Those are the three that we post in on a regular basis. And then also our website, dxcentralonline.com. We have a lot of stuff on the website. We have propagation stuff for AM and FM DX. We have gear recommendations. We have basics about DXing. We have band scans. We just put up our new TIS Hard Challenge page. It has links there that are helpful. We have our glossary of terminology. We have our abbreviation list. Just all kinds of stuff. And I am still working on the page for the Shack as well and adding our logbook up as well because I really want to put that up there because I saw Justin put his up on his website. And I was like, ooh, I like that. So we're going to borrow a cue from our friend Justin up in Minnesota, UB Studios. Make sure you're following him on Twitter or YouTube as well, by the way. So we're going to do that as well. Put up a whole thing about the Shack with the gear we're using and our logbooks and all that kind of stuff. Just working through that now. All right. So, all right. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate your support as always. Go have fun. 1500 to 1550. Those are our frequencies of the week. Go have fun with those. And go have fun with the TIS Hard Challenge. If the static calms down next week, we don't have that going on. We may spend some time up on 1610 and see what we can hear there as well. If not live, maybe some recorded stuff that we did on the Jaguar software here. So take care, my friends. Best of DX 73. Have a great week. We'll see you next time right here on DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville. This is Lloyd saying 73 and Best of DX. Good night.
This is DX Central Live.